Hello all. Today I'll be drawing one of my favorite characters, Daredevil. Let's see how it goes, shall we? Here's an extreme close-up of Mr. Hornhead. For speed's sakes, I have already drawn the loose pencils on one layer and have inked certain parts of his body. Part of his arm and hand, and the billy club. I've also drawn the DD emblem on his chest. It could be resized a little bit more if needed. It's almost there, so it doesn't need much. And finally, I redrew the head and added the shadowing in the center of his face and the forehead. So, from here on out, we can check our brushes, see if we have the ones we need, and we do. And then create a new layer and start drawing the rest of the body. Today's cartoon is being drawn digitally, and later videos I will be drawing in pencils as well, which is the technique I prefer. But for quickness sake again, and just to publish something right away, decided to go digital first. And also because this program, Adobe Fresco, is such a fun app to work with. As you can see, it's very intuitive and simple to use. Although there's some masking that can be done within the program, I am still very, what you would call old school, where I just like to draw over lines, even within the same layer, and then just erase what's not necessary. I do it because of two things, because yes, one, I'm old school, and two, because I think it creates a better technique when using the pen, the digital pen. It's closer to what you would do in real life with a pencil, or especially inks, that you want to be precise, you know. And even though layers are a beautiful thing and they help you make things faster, sometimes it's good to challenge yourself and just draw over things and erase as needed, and just be precise in your erasing of the inks. Daredevil is a joy to draw. The legendary artist Wally Wood, he was giving the comic book after somebody else worked on it. I can't remember the name of the first person that worked on it, but by the time Mr. Wood got the comic book, Daredevil had a very circus-inspired red and yellow suit, which wasn't bad. I still love it, but Stan Lee gave Wally Wood all the freedom he wanted, and one of those choices that he made was to create a red suit versus the yellow and red. It is not known why he did that, but I would like to think that it was just a better design. I guess he wanted to focus more on the devil part of his name versus the Daredevil name, which is more of a circus name. Regardless, the suit is so iconic that it endures to this day. This red, well, devil-like suit. That even though Daredevil has had his costume changed quite a few times since then, it always defaults back to the red color. Eventually it comes back to the red because it's just so iconic and so beautiful and such an amazing design. Speaking of times that the costume was changed, in the 90s, they redesigned his character to have more of an extreme view, extreme look to match everything that was happening back then with comics, with death of superheroes, and they come back in a more extreme manner. And with Daredevil, they gave him this grayish black suit with red plates on his chest and armor on his legs and shoulders. And it's infamous because it's like the epitome of everything that's extreme. Again, I'm going to be saying that word a lot because that's the best way to explain the 90s comics. And but it was so out there. His suit, it was everything that this red suit is not, you know. It was fairly disliked back then. I think of all the extreme suits that were created back then, I think is the one that fared the best. Simply because even today, the suit has come back to the comic book, and to be honest, I like it, and I think it looks good, and I think other people like it as well. Still, this red suit is clearly the favorite. Even the TV series that were on Netflix and now it's on Disney Plus, even then, when they finally show the suit at the ending of season 1, it was the red suit. It was a little armored here and there, but it was definitely just a red suit. And same with the Ben Affleck movie. They focused on the red suit. Which, by the way, I actually prefer the suit from Ben Affleck's movie and the TV series, even though I do love both. Here's my favorite part of inking comics and inking, even digitally, is that it's not just tracing. There were people out there that just traced, and you could tell because the comics were flat. As an inker, you're supposed to give the comic book, the comic page, or the character life, life beyond the pencils. Use the pencils as a good basis and go from there. Add to it. Don't fight it. A lot of inkers like to fight the pencils. They think they can do better because they're artists themselves. But that's not the point. You're supposed to work at unison with the penciler and give the characters on the page the best life possible. inker who trained me when I was inking comics told me the basis of inking, which is whatever the penciler could not convey in pencils, it is your job to bring it in with the inks. And I always took that to heart. I always wanted to see, okay, this is a beautiful pencil piece. What else can I add to it? And coming back to the TV series from Netflix, I think that's the perfect representation of a comic book. Be it a series or a movie, that's the top. I don't think it gets better than that series from beginning to end. And I'll even add the series The Defenders between seasons 2 and 3 of Daredevil, and just watch the whole thing, and it's just so well done. The characters, the drama, the fights, everything is excellent about it. And I don't think, even though there's good superhero stuff out there, nothing compares to the Daredevil series. Absolutely nothing. On this leg right here, this is inspired by Jack Kirby's way of inking the Black Phil and Daredevil suit from the old Fantastic Four comic books. I always loved Daredevil. I like right here, for example, how it curves underneath. I always loved Daredevil, but truly fell in love with him when I saw Jack Kirby's rendition of the character. The way the inside Black Phil just moved around his body, sometimes following the shape of the body, but sometimes not. It's just magic inking, just the way, Jack Kirby could do. And it was so impressive to me as a kid to see him. There's one cover of an old Fantastic Four comic where is Reed Richards, the Thing, and Human Torch about to battle Spider-Man. Can't remember who the third superhero is, but Spider-Man, that superhero, and Daredevil. And Daredevil's on the top, and it's the covers made by Jack Kirby and drawn by Jack Kirby, and the inks are just incredible on all of them, but especially in Daredevil. It's the thing of beauty. And this drawing, and whenever I draw him, that's what it's inspired by mainly Jack Kirby and how he just drew him so beautifully. Of course, this is Jack Kirby talking about, so in my book, he could do no wrong. To be completely honest with you, I could just leave in black and white with this black fills and I would be happy. At this point, I am happy without the colors. It just conveys everything about Daredevil without even have to put the red in. And that's just insanely good design from both Bollywood and Jack Kirby. But since this is a coloring app, I might as well use some colors. it's easier to color a character versus a color background versus having it white. It's just easier for me. And also, one of the things that I truly love doing, especially in this cartoony style, is an outline, such as this. For the longest time, I didn't do outlines, and in fact, I never even thought of them. But then, upon going to Comic-Cons and sitting at my table, an artist next to me will do commissions, and at the end of the commission, he will do these beautiful drawings on brown paper, and even though the drawing was beautiful, he will add the extra touch of doing a yellow or white outline of the character, and that will just make the character pop. And I fell in love with that idea of outlines. It's something that I add pretty much everywhere I can draw if I'm doing color. And I just think it's so cool to have an outline. One of the main reasons I love Daredevil is the fact that he's been put through hell from the beginning. I mean, he loses his sight from childhood, and then he goes through the death of his father, and then he just goes through pain after pain, sadness after sadness, and he keeps not breaking, or in the cases where the writer breaks him, he comes back. I'll be honest and say that I don't know how's it going for Daredevil now, but the times I come back to the comic, the times I enjoy him most is when I know that he's been through so much and not break. I just think that's just like Spider-Man and to an extent Superman. That's the beauty of these characters, that it's not their powers, it's the strength of character, the fact that they gotta keep going. And in the case of Daredevil, he does it with a smile, even though he's been through so much. That's something that I wish I had, and I try to remember it. And here's the outline. Look how cool that looks. It's time to add the red of the suit. And I normally like to add a darker red to him. I've seen many colorists that draw him in so many different ways, so different reds. And to me, the one that's most effective is when it's a black, nearly black suit with a dark red. It is lighter than the background, but still, I prefer this type of dark red. There's the big tongue. And the big white eyes. Finally, skin tone. I also like to add a darker color that give him more weight and more roundness to him. In this case it's easy because it's only red that's needed. So I like to follow the contours of the body. It doesn't have to be exact, but just follow where the darker side of the body would be and just add a bit of a dark color there. Like so. Just by adding that, it gives it a new dimension, you know? It gives it form. There's one feature I do love in Adobe Fresco is the bucket, like this. Create a shape, you close it, and then with the bucket, you just fill it up. So quick. This is one of my favorite things to do when it comes to toward the end of the drawing. Giving it life essentially, you know, with these colors. Showing where the light should be hitting the character from. And even though, I'll be the first one to say it, it's not precise, it's not perfect, it still helps give the character a whole new dimension. or here on the elbow. When you look at the drawing, unless you're studying it, you really don't even notice it. But your eyes can see it, and it's there, and it makes your eyes go, yes, I understand what's going on. That's the beauty of this little things they do your drawing, you know, to add to it. What's a two-dimensional drawing becomes something else, becomes alive. There's a lot more I could do to this drawing, but there is a point where you have to let go, you know? You look at it and you go, this is perfect. Anything I add, anything more I add to it is not gonna be seen, or it's not gonna add any more than I already have. I think that's the biggest battle of being an artist, to know when to stop. Our insecurities kicked in and we're like, oh God, it's not ready, not ready, ready. Well, we have to decide when it's ready, and I think it's ready now. Now, to make it pop a little more, I'm gonna light the background a little bit, because right now it seems to be fighting it for attention, the background and the character. So first, some extreme motion lines. This is something I learned way back in the 90s. It's a lazy man's background thing, where if you don't want to create buildings or some three-dimensional looking area, just add some lines. And you're gonna see this a lot if you pick up any 90s comic, a superhero that is, of course. A lot of their backgrounds are just lines. Shamelessly, just lines, you know. It got so bad at the points that some artists added them even when they were not needed. I can mention a few names, but I'll just keep quiet. But for a moment like this, where he's jumping from anywhere, you know, it works. Now, maybe I should have made it a little darker, but you know. Everything's competing for attention, so we're going to lower the opacity of the lines. And like I said before, lower the opacity of the background. Thank you for watching this video. It is my first video, and I'm a bit worried about what I'm publishing here. So I tried my best, and you're probably going to find a lot of stuff that could be fixed here. And I'll be drawing more, but so far, this was a lot of fun. Please like and subscribe. My aim is to do a post once a week, hopefully all Thursdays. So, thank you. Thank you for watching.